Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Ben Arteaga. You got Derrick Suarez here, Jimmie Jackson, and Royce Ching, and we created Pickup. The concept of our site is uh, for the browser that wants to go and look for a pickup game at a park somewhere, either basketball or soccer, instead of having to drive around looking for a park where people are playing there, you go to our site, and you can there find games depending disc golf, soccer, basketball, and you also have the option of creating a game and inviting other people to it. Derrick here will show you some things on the back end of it.
Yeah, so we started off, very um, ambitious, but we narrowed it down to three sports to kind of keep it that way, to kind of make it a little bit easier to handle. So we brainstormed ideas. We had some different, um, some different things, some different ideas for our project that we just kind of didn't think we'd be able to accomplish in 2 weeks. So we ended up going with the concept for pickup, and it was like Ben said, it was his idea. So props to Ben for that. Um, of course, we wanted to try to meet the requirements that were up here. So some of our design process, we wanted to, we had to establish our roles, and Jimmie and Ben kind of stepped up and took the kind of more front side UX UI or more UI design, and Royce and I were working more with the behind the scenes stuff. Um, so the APIs we used were Google Maps, and I went with the embed API. I was just having a lot of problems with the JavaScript API, and I don't know, I just was getting frustrated by it and couldn't get it to work. So I kind of shifted gears and went with the embed API, and that worked out for me. And Royce, I'm going to let Royce talk a little bit about the weather API. Yeah.
Yeah, so this is a list of the technologies we used, and obviously Bootstrap, jQuery, and then we use Firebase to store all the pickup games data. So when you created a game, it store all the name of the game, what type of sport you're playing, the location, date, time, all the necessary information. So after we got the API keys and set up the weather API, we decided to use Weather Underground. We checked out Open Weather Map and Weather Channel, but Weather Underground seemed to provide the best data for our purposes. So obviously, when you look at when you create a game or look up a pickup game, it provides the weather, the current conditions for wherever you're going to be playing. Hand it back to Derrick. He did a lot with the validations and the Vex modals. So
Yeah, the Vex modals was something that I had found when I was doing the train homework, and it was before I realized that Bootstrap had modals. So I went with this Vex modals, and it was like really easy to use once I got all the necessary files linked and in place. Then the syntax is super simple. But of course, everyone knows now that there's Bootstrap modals, which you could just easily use that. But anyway, that was a cool technology that I had found before. And then validation functions, I actually got some help with that from a recent a group project we did a couple of Saturdays ago. So props to Justin on showing me a lot of information about validation functions. Um, yeah, so I guess we can go ahead and pull up the site now and show a little bit of how it works. So you have your kind of standard landing page, and we really thought about like, you want to make it full screen, Jimmy? We thought about like what is the basic functionality of our site was to do um, two things. You either want to find a game and go play, or you want to create a game so your friends can find it and come and join you to play. So if you click on create a game, then it'll bring you to this screen. And so this was the way that I got around the Google Maps embed API. If we were to bring up the HTML document, all the AJAX calls are made initially. So there are four maps, the init map, and then there's, if you click on the sport and game type, you can see that there's basketball, soccer, and disc golf. So all those maps are already loaded, and I use jQuery to like show and hide based on what the user clicks. So if you click on 3-on-3 basketball, then it'll show you the map populated with places where you can go and play basketball. And you got this nice little pulsating text up here that reads the weather underground data. I think it checks for the feels like, and I set it to greater than 85, and it says, hey, it's hot outside. You probably should play inside, right? You don't want to get heat stroke. Or if you click on disc golf, that checks the wind gust, because of course that's going to affect your disc golf game. So it says, oh, it's not that windy out there, so it shouldn't mess with your game. So there you go. So, and there's some good, like, all the form validation. If you click submit right now, of course, hopefully it works. Yeah, so nothing happens, and that's the Vex modal kind of slides down. So it's waiting, and there's actually validation on each individual form element as well. So if you fill them all out, if you didn't follow this format or the military format, then yeah, Jim's going to create a game for us. Yeah, you want to go ahead? Yeah, go ahead, do one. So, and also, like, of course, we don't want it to push to Firebase if the data is not correct, because we don't want bad data showing up on the find a game page. So probably, yeah, so see, you've got to enter in the 2016. Yep. Good. So now it's telling you, hey, look, everything looks good. So check out the find game page to go and find your game. So you go over here, and this is where all of the games are. And it's appended, not prepended. I think we talked about maybe changing that, but we kind of were working on other last minute frantic changes this morning. So all these things, if you hover over them, you got a little nice hover effect that shows you, yeah. And then if you actually hover over the location, it should change. There we go. And then you click on the location, and it'll show you on the map where that is. So, there's a heck of a lot more functionality that we could have built in had we had more than 2 weeks. But, So, Jimmie, did you need to talk about anything? No? Cool. Any questions? No. Okay.